Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Safari Live down here in South Africa on Djuma Game Reserve. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this morning is Vyam, of course, and we've got our lovely ladies in the final control, Megan and Ashley on this side, and Chantal all the way in the Mara, and the Mara team will be joining us a little bit later. Now, we've got these beautiful Inyala bulls walking across the clearing, just a few of them. However, it is always great to see them. We were sitting here quietly, busy watching them, and we just heard a leopard busy calling in the distance. So I'm going to try and drive in that area and see which leopard it is. Hopefully we get to find it. So I'm going to drive around quickly, and maybe we have some luck with leopard this morning. We were lucky yesterday afternoon. We got to see that young male leopard, Hyena. I don't think this calling would have been him. This would be a dominant leopard that's giving a territorial call, that sawing sound that they do. So let's see if we can have any luck this morning. Now don't forget, we are live, everyone, so send us your questions and your comments, and you can do that via Twitter. Hashtag Safari Live is how you do it. We always enjoy hearing from our viewers. Now, it's a very cool morning here on Djuma. It's about 20 degrees Celsius, about 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So nice, cool weather. So maybe these predators would be moving around quite a bit, but let's see. Hopefully we catch up to that leopard that was making that sound earlier. It sounded reasonably far, but still on Djuma, definitely. Just hope I get the direction right, that we drive in the right area and we start looking for that leopard. That's very exciting when you hear a leopard calling, and then you try and find it, hopefully. What tracks are these? A lot of hyena tracks on the road here. Just double checking all the tracks that we pass quickly. It's always important to have a look at different tracks. Okay, now Vyam and I will have to keep our eyes peeled. James, you say a leopard on Saturday would be absolutely perfect. Would be. Excuse me a second. I just want to. I'm going to just listen and try radio these other guides that are around at the moment. Maybe they're out. They can give us a hand at looking for this leopard. Taxon for Byron. Sorry. Alright, I'll tell you what. Let's go across to Jamie quickly for Mara sunrise. And then we will keep you updated, and hopefully we get to find that leopard. Good morning, Taxon. Sorry, Info. I hope you're well.
It's going to be our introduction. A very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. My name is Jamie, and this morning Jahawi is on camera with me, and as you can see, this is going to be our introduction because I can't get back onto the road. I mean, no, I can't get off the road that I'm on. So I can't go forward because that's where I came from, all the way over there, and I can't go sideways, which leaves me with the only viable alternative being we're going backwards. At some point, somewhere, there's going to be a possibility that I could turn. In fact, that might be it over there. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Whee! Yes, we can. It's rather muddy out here in the Maasai Mara, so that is where we are. You've been with Byron in South Africa. You are now in a very muddy Kenya. the southern portion of the Maasai Mara. Well, southern-ish portion. Actually, we're in the central portion. And yesterday we spent some time with the 5 musketeers, the 5 cheetah brothers. And then we saw 2 lionesses, but unfortunately both of those animals then wandered off away from where we can actually get signals. So we had to leave them and we returned home. So this morning the plan is to go and find the cheetah brothers and then to stay with the cheetah brothers for, well, I would say the rest of the day, essentially. And then perhaps alternate and go and have a look and see what the other 2 females are doing. Because apparently there were 2 females in the vicinity. And even have a look for those lions at the same time. So there's lots planned, I just have to get there. I try to skip the main road. I've got to stop trying to skip the main road. It's not working out in my favor at the moment. It's just really bumpy. I will introduce myself again. A very good morning. My name is Jamie. Did I forget that, Jahawi? No, definitely said my name is Jamie, and this morning Jahawi is on camera with me. And it is lovely to be accompanied by all of you. Don't forget to send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter. And let's see what we can find. One of the balloons has already completed its morning flight, and what a beautiful morning it is. When you're driving on a nice flat solid surface, everything looks really quite gorgeous. Now I know that it's been raining across on the other side of the reserve towards the camp at Angama. Let's go and find out where Taylor is and if she's made it out.
Well, it's raining and I'm very worried about our equipment getting wet this morning because that's exactly what's going to happen. We're stuck at the gate. I've got my hood on. I'm hiding from the rain. My name is Taylor and on camera with me today is Ferg. And well, I don't know where our gate guard is to let us out. I was considering maybe just driving straight through it, but I probably won't do that. That would be disastrous. So hopefully someone is going to come and let us out in a minute. But I don't know how much luck we're going to have on this side. It's pretty much been raining right throughout the evening as well. A soft drizzle, but when it's been a drizzle for over, well, 6-7 hours, we know how saturated the ground is and we know how wet it was yesterday already. And there hasn't been any time for the ground to dry whatsoever. So it's very, very wet out there. You can just see where all the water is, of course, catching. And if roads are filling up, that was a road. We won't be driving on that one, that's for sure. And then all the wetland marsh areas will be topped up as full as they can just about get. And maybe we can see a lion from here, but I doubt it. But yes, so I don't know how long we're going to be waiting up on top of the hill for. It could be a minute. It could be an hour. So we'll just kind of sit here and wait until we can go on safari. Right, we're going to keep sitting here. We're not going anywhere. Hopefully someone will come to our rescue. Let's jump on board with Brent and say good morning.
Well, I think we're live. I'm not sure. We had a bit of comms break up there. Good morning and welcome to the beautiful Maasai Mara. Craig and I have got an early start this morning, and we are heading towards the last area where we left Malika sleeping last night. My name is Brent Smith. I have Craig the Batman on camera, and we are still on the edge of the migration here. Remember, if you want to ask us any questions, #SafariLive is the best way to get hold of us, and we're on a very bumpy road while we race towards where we left Malika. There's a few spits of rain around, but I'm just going to stop on this crest here quickly to show you. Bumpity bumpity bump. So here we go. Lots of wildebeest down towards our left and a lot more coming from the right, heading south towards Tanzania. And there we go, you can see lots and lots of wildies and zebra around. And well, let me just turn the car quickly so Craig can show you how beautiful it is this morning. There we go, looking towards the east to the mountains around Sekanani. What an absolutely stunning morning. Now, as I said, we're getting a few spits of rain. It doesn't look too serious, unlike the behemoth of a storm that hit us yesterday. But we have cheetah to find, because this is the time of day you want to be with cheetah. And hopefully Malika and the two boys are on the hunt. So we're right up on the crest between the Sand River Valley and the Ronkai River Valley. And this is one of the main roads through the Mara, which means it can be a little bit corrugated and bumpy. But anywhere from here is a good place to start looking for those three cheetah. I'm hoping they haven't moved too far since we left them last night completely flat at about 7. Now we're about to drive through a massive herd of wildebeest. It's always hard to try to find the right way through these corrugations. Now, strange enough, corrugations like this are actually caused by people driving too fast. There we go. Hello, gnu's. The odd zebra around as well. It is incredible that they are still around, hanging around a lot later. There's been really great rain in this part of the Mara, so the grass is green and gorgeous, and all the better if you're a wildebeest. Now, I'm going to start checking all the little termite mounds and high ground. We left, oh no, still a little bit further down the next valley is where we left her. But when we left her, there were no wildebeest close to her. They'd all moved away. But it seems like this morning they might be absolutely surrounded by the migration.
Dear, Brent has disappeared. Apparently he didn't have any comms. So we're on the top of a ridge while Brent makes his way towards Malika. We're making our way towards the cheetah boys. There's all kinds of things around us though, so let me stop and take them in before we go rushing off in search of the cheetah and forget to take in our surroundings. There was some really beautiful light up until about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes ago. That was illuminating these topies and make them look, by topee standards, positively stunning. It was particularly striking up against the dark bank of clouds that is over the western side, towards where Taylor is actually. The topee wandering through, the sound of lapwings exceptionally upset at the intrusion. Lots of little tommies as well. And of course, the ever-present sound of the wildebeest. Oh, it's a hyena. Oh, sorry, I couldn't work out what that sound was. It's a hyena calling somewhere, not far away from us. I think there might be a den site around here. I saw lots of tracks in the mud earlier. Okay, let's carry on. I think let's carry on and go and see if we can catch up with these boys before it gets much warmer and they decide to go to sleep. The balloons are out, everybody enjoying a very peaceful, serene flight. And us, of course, heading slowly in the direction of balloon crossing. Right, if I were the cheetah, where would I be? I suspect they're still going to be around that Bermuda Triangle. I really think there's a reason why they're not moving as much as they were. And I suspect, but I don't know, I suspect it has to do with a lady. One of the two ladies that have been in the area. And I really want to go and find out and untangle those sorts of mysteries. We're in the wrong valley though. That's okay. Doing a loop around is never a bad thing either. Dare I take it out of low range? I think so. It's not nearly as muddy here as it was before. I think we'll be okay. Do you know the other thing that I've noticed, which is, I'm sure perhaps just where I am, I haven't seen very many baby topies on this side of the river. I don't quite know why that is, but it seems like every herd of topies you look at in the triangle, not you look like, but you look at in the triangle, seems to have a baby wandering about. It doesn't seem to be the same here, which is just interesting. But it's this area that you really get an idea of the impact that the wildebeest have had. You can see, I mean, there's absolutely no, well, there's grass, there's beautiful green grass, but it's very, very short. Wildebeest in the distance. The wildebeest never eat all of the grass, otherwise we'd have a very big problem because next year there wouldn't be any grass. When the wildebeest arrived in this area, when the zebra and the wildebeest arrived in this area, the grass was this long. This long. There we go. Now my hand's in frame. The grass was easily this long in terms of where it was. It was sticking over the side of our doors. So there was a lot of grass here. Less so in this area, but I mean towards Serena and towards those sorts of areas, the ridge, the grass was incredibly high. So it's not that the wildebeest have left grass behind, it's that they've eaten all of the tops of the grasses, the red oat grass, and they've now gone wandering off in search of, oh well, why not? Since you're singing so beautifully for us. Such a nice, pretty little song to listen to. So the grasses are, I mean, they've evolved to be grazed. So they will recover after all of this rain. Rufus-naped lark is now going to sing for you. And go. It's so damp it doesn't even have a rufous crest. You can only see it when it turns its head. What's he saying? Let's see what the bird book says he's saying. Ah, flew away. I haven't done one single Mara bird calls as per twitchers and, what do you call people who study birds? Ornithologists. Yes. Had a moment there. Let's see if this particular application has it. What does it say? It says c'est sweet. C'est sweet. C'est sweet. C'est sweet. There we go. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to go through the bird books and to have a look at exactly, for new viewers, because I mean the regular viewers will be familiar with this whole process, but the idea is to try and work, or to try and see what the ornithologists have written the bird call down as. And I'm not saying I could do a better job, because it's really not easy, but sometimes the results are absolutely hilarious. I mean, the one that drives James absolutely crazy is the chin spot batis and the three blind mice, because it's completely off pitch. It doesn't sound like that at all. It's the wrong intervals between the notes, which I agree with. Okay, let's carry on. But it is entertaining. It's a game that I started all the way down in South Africa. Speaking of South Africa, Byron is out. Let's go and find out what his plans are on this beautiful morning.
A hyena. Let's see. Looks like two of them. Hold on. They're right in front of us.
What are you doing, Mr. Kruger? Self-drive waiting for me. Sorry about that, everyone. Byron's disappeared off your screens. We're back up and running. Well, we've always been running. We are, for now, solid and dependable. Oh, there's a giraffe. Let's have a look at that. Hold on a minute. Oh, no, don't disappear. There you go. There's a giraffe over there, along with the singing rufous-naped lark. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Surprisingly hidden for such a large creature, especially because she's feeding with her head down. Hello, girl. You can immediately see she's a female. She actually has exceptionally thin ossicones. And some of the smallest ossicones I've seen on an adult female. Morning. Hi, guys.
Morning.
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Having a good time.
Very much so, thank you.
So how it goes.
That's where we're going to start heading towards. I will. Bye, guys. You too. I'm just saying hello to some of the other guides. I always feel so terribly rude at times, because the other guides in South Africa know exactly how it all works, and they know when we're live, but there's so many guides out here that it's very difficult to explain exactly what it is we're doing, and it's very difficult to explain on the go, especially when we're live. So it always gets a little, especially by the third person who wants to chat to you, it does get a bit tricky. My cap's about to fall off. Let's have a look at our giraffe again. She's bending over. Everybody loves giraffe. Looking back over her shoulder at the beautiful sunrise. Oh, and we might even have some very pretty silhouettes of some Thompson's gazelle off to the right. They're wandering about on the ridge. What do you think, Jahawi? Could be pretty. Could definitely work. Yeah, there we go. No, I don't think that giraffe is larger than average. I think she's actually... She's pretty standard female size, actually, from what I can see. She's quite dark, which usually, but not always, suggests an older individual, but sometimes you get young giraffe that are very dark, sometimes you get old giraffe that are very light. She's quite dark. Do you mean rounder as in she might be pregnant? Oh, look at this. You really get an idea of how tough their mouths are as she moves through that. No, I don't think she's particularly any larger than normal. Unbelievably tough lips, tough tongue, tough cheeks. She might be a little bit round. She could be a bit rounder than normal. I see that I see. Perhaps a baby giraffe on the way. If so, not imminent, I wouldn't have thought. I love how the patterns of the spots look like oak leaves or maple leaves. Heather, you can't, well, I can't really accurately age a giraffe. The best way to age them is to have a look at their teeth, because of course constantly chewing on branches and leaves will eventually wear down their teeth, and you can get an idea as to just how old they are by by gauging it by looking at their teeth. Obviously getting a giraffe to open wide isn't always the easiest thing to do. So although I've asked many times, very few giraffe ever show me their teeth. So as a result, you actually have to try and guess she's not pregnant at all. You know why she's not pregnant? Because there's another baby giraffe over there that I have only just seen, which goes to show how camouflaged they are. It's over... Can you see it there, Jahowie? It's really very well hidden. Where is it? Yes, there we go, there we go. There's a young... Is that a youngster? It looks like a youngster to me. What was I about to say? Oh, yes. In terms of aging giraffe, you can age giraffe calves. This is not a young giraffe calf. Probably around about 8 months old or so, maybe a little bit younger. But that's in terms of the rate that they grow. So the speed at which they grow is usually falls within an average or within a bell curve. And you can tell by older males when they start to go really dark and they get those protrusions on the top of their heads become very calcified. That's usually over 10 years old, around about 15 or so. So that will give you a good idea. But otherwise, to say we can 100% accurately age animals it's impossible for us. Kylie, no, a giraffe wouldn't eat a weaver's nest, quite simply because the nest is so dry, and the grasses that have been weaved around to create the weaver's nest, which, by the way, are absolute works of art, that's not really appetizing to a giraffe. And bear in mind, they can smell and they can taste very clearly what it is they're about to put in their mouths. They might, though, knock a nest over. That could happen. They might maybe be tempted to nibble on a fresh weaver's nest, but it's certainly not something I've ever seen. You get weird things that happen in nature. And maybe I don't think there's a chance of giraffe really eating eggs. There's all animals out here, even the herbivores, will supplement their diet in order to boost their protein levels. And that means chewing on carcasses occasionally, chewing on bones for the extra calcium, and maybe they might be inclined to chew on an egg, but I don't think so. I think it would be highly, highly unlikely. The most damaging effect they could have on a weaver's nest is to actually have knocked it out of the tree. Okay, I'm going to carry on and go in search of these cheetah. Ali, oxpeckers don't give giraffe a skin disease, but what they do is they can make injuries a great deal worse. So when, obviously an oxpecker, the bird that sits on the giraffe, and I'd show you one, but these two don't have any or maybe this one does. Maybe this one does, on its shoulder. Hello, little one. Hello, little one. Can we have a look at the free riders on your back? So the oxpeckers are they're birds that actually sit on the giraffe's shoulder. No. Yes, there it is. I did see an oxpecker. And they will pick away all the ticks and the parasites and clear away earwax buildup as well, which makes them very useful. But when the giraffe has some kind of cut or an injury, the oxpeckers also feed on blood and mucus, and that includes the blood of their host, whoever happens to be hosting them at the time. So what you'll find is that they pick away constantly at an injury, and they prevent it from healing. And that's one of the ways in which they might... There is an argument, I suppose, because giraffe do get, particularly in South Africa, there's a type of version of the herpes virus. Obviously, there's lots of different versions of the herpes virus, but there's a version of the herpes virus that affects giraffe skin. And I guess it's possible that it might be transferred from the birds that are pecking at the open wounds to another giraffe. The thing is, viruses don't live for a very long time outside of the body, so it's more likely that that's transmitted from giraffe to giraffe rather than through a carrier like an oxpecker. I'm not sure. It's a good question. I'll have to research further into it. I suppose it's possible that they will transfer skin diseases, but I think it's more likely that it's just because they keep the injuries open. We're going to go off in search of these cheetah. Let's find out whether Taylor's made her way down to the Mara at last.
We have finally, and we're searching for Egyptian geese today. The only reason why I've said that is because I can show you one almost immediately. We got let out, which was quite nice, and I bumped into one of the wardens and I asked him about the roads, and he said we can drive them, which is surprising. Hello, chachangoose. Just sitting up on a fallen tree, calling. Look at a beautiful shimmer of green also on the tips of their wings. So just like lions will roar to declare their territories, leopards will soar, Egyptian geese will honk. Something in between a honk and a quack, isn't it? It's a bizarre sound. And isn't it amazing how those webbed feet actually allow them to even balance up on the edges of branches? You wouldn't think that they'd be very good gripping toes, but they've actually got sharp little claws on the end of them. And Egyptian geese are very much, as much time as they spend down on the ground, they do spend up and sitting in trees, sitting on top of termite mounds, doing all these things. But I wonder where its mate is. They are monogamous. You normally see them in pairs. And there is a pair that I have seen around here. And it's a great area. We've got a lugger that can fill up with water, so that'll provide a swimming area. And there's now a spur fowl of sorts also calling in the long grass somewhere. And the grass covers quite a bit with water. They could swim around in the marshy area. And then, of course, there's nice all the grass they can eat, which is very cool. So it's actually the perfect habitat for an Egyptian goose, although I find Egyptian goose don't really need this perfect habitat. They adapt really, really easy, and that's why they've become such a problem throughout, I don't think it's just South Africa, but throughout Africa. They are very much intrusive, very aggressive, and they come in and they take over areas and often chase away a lot of other water birds. Having a great old time there, aren't you? Singing away. Careful. It's a bit slippery. Oh, that's beautiful with the light. Now, Gina, you're wondering if these are really geese or are they ducks? Well, it's interesting. So, there's a couple of species of ducks and geese that I have seen that, of course, make me think. But an Egyptian goose is indeed a goose. It does honk. The way that it nests makes it a goose as well. But then there's some, like the African shell duck, is more like a goose. It doesn't make a quacking noise. Off it flies. There it goes. Cool. And then the pygmy goose is more like a duck than it is a goose. So there's some confusing ones. They've baffled, of course, the ornithologists, but eventually we'll get there. Right. now we're going to have lots of fun today. We're going to be doing plenty of mudding, and the roads are completely saturated. We might get stuck today. I think if any time we are going to get stuck, it's probably going to be today, but that'll be fine. Jamie will be quite excited to hear that she'll be handing over her marshmallow hat. I think we should have ceremonies when we pass the marshmallow pin on. But we'll keep driving, and hopefully we'll find some black rhinos. Ferg hasn't seen a leopard yet, so we're going to try to find him a leopard today. And Byron, however, has got something else with spots, but it's not a leopard or a cheetah.
The Hyena again, they move through a bit of a dip or a bit of a drainage line, so it's great that we managed to find them again. They're out on the clearings not far from camp. Now I wonder if these hyena won't be heading towards the hyena den. Let's have a look. We'll follow them for a bit. We didn't have any luck with the leopard that we heard calling this morning. Unfortunately, it sounded like down in the southwest, and we don't have signal there at the moment. So even if we did find it, we wouldn't be able to show you. Let's just have a look where these hyena are going. They're fascinating to follow, hyena, because it's amazing to see how they just change direction. All of a sudden, they'll pick up on the scent or sound of something, change direction. So they zigzag quite a bit. Probably one of the best, if not the best, tracker in the bush. I think the hyena. If you think of carcasses or kills that they find made by other predators like lions and leopards, hyena are always nearby. So they find those other predators very, very easily. That's why I say they're most likely one of the best trackers in the bush. I do think so. They've split up a little bit. Let's carry on following this one who's walking down the road. Who knows, maybe they find a predator for us. You can see that arched or sloped back, and with those longer front legs and the shorter back legs. Perfect for, that's a nice view of one, perfect for long distance running, so they can, and walking long distances, also because of that neck and the head, very, very powerful and muscular neck and head. The front legs need to be strong to carry that weight. Now this is why we always say we find we find hyena tracks everywhere, over every road. They're often hyena tracks, and you can see why. They cover huge distances, especially through the night, looking for food or looking for carcasses to scavenge off of. So that's why we often see hyena tracks just about everywhere. Now that one in the background over there appears as if it's moving straight towards camp. Maybe if it carries on that way, actually, it's heading towards James's tent. If you asked if hyena there's some Inyala just running away from the hyena. Now, they're not really threatened by the hyena, but it's still a predator. They haven't alarm called at all. They're just keeping an eye on it. They don't want the hyena to get too close. And now, if you were asking, would hyena kill a leopard? Well, it's unlikely. It's unlikely, and maybe leopard cubs. If they do come across any leopard cubs, that can happen from time to time. Not very often, but it can happen. We've had leopard cubs in this area get killed by hyena before. But an adult leopard, it's unlikely. Usually a leopard would be able to either fight off a hyena or jump into a tree to get away from a clan of hyenas if there are a number of them. But they do have to be careful because the hyena do have very, very powerful jaws, very powerful animals. So the leopards would have to be careful of them. But generally, they wouldn't necessarily kill a leopard. They'd just chase a leopard. And the reason for that is because often the leopards have kills that the hyenas want. So they'll try and chase a leopard off a kill, and then steal and scavenge the food. You might be able to see, it's a bit thick there now, but our tent is just through the thicket, through the back there. These hyena are moving in that direction. You asked what is the bite force of a hyena compared to a lion. Now, I stand to correction. I think a hyena is about 1,000 psi. That's pounds per square inch. 1,000 pounds per square inch, which is incredibly powerful. And I would guess that a lion's probably about 600 or 700 psi. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about a lion, but it is less than hyena. That I know. The hyena has the most powerful bite force out of all the predators that we get in this area. Obviously, crocodile are much more powerful, but the land predators, the ones that move around here, hyena is the strongest. Now they've disappeared through the thicket. Nice to see some hyena this morning, though. Now, actually, you know what? They may be heading towards some water. Now they're walking quickly. I'm going to try and drive around and see if we can't have a look at them. Maybe they're going to Gallagher Pan, which is a little water hole just on the other side. I'm going to drive around there quickly. Let's see. Maybe we're lucky and we get them going for a drink. See, the hyena, all these animals are lucky. They can cut a path straight through the bush, the most direct path to a water hole, whereas we have to drive around. So let's see. But we'll let you know if they do go and drink. I'm going to head around there quickly. While I do that, let's head back to the Mara and find out how Brent's search for the cheetah is going.
Well, it's not going so well at the moment, and we're just riding the ridges, staying on the high ground, and then checking carefully through all the valleys. Now, she has spent a lot of time up in these areas, so checking all the termite mounds. Alas, no sign of her yet. Oh dear, the evil things are here. I don't know if you can see these tiny little bugs that are buzzing around. They are incredibly evil. They are tiny little biting midges. Oh, go away. Okay, we need to move before they bite me. The other morning actually, I got absolutely annihilated. I must have had about 100 little bites all around my neck. Which is okay when you're with a cheetah, but when you're looking for a cheetah, not okay. I ain't got one in my eye. Now, being on a live African safari, you never know what's going to happen next. I'm quite confident we will find the cheetah, and I'm hoping we find them while they're still hungry, because I don't think that steenbok they ate yesterday is going to be enough to feed all three. Well, let's go quickly back to South Africa with Byron.
Oh, wow, I'm glad you managed to come back to us. This is the first violet-backed starling of the season. Now, they do migrate, and they arrive back around September, October. But it's the first one I've seen. I'm not sure if Tristan has seen one this season, moving into summer. It's a bit difficult to see the color now because of the cloudy skies, but I will show you a picture of this bird shortly. But just have a good look. It's got a beautiful purple or violet back and head. Very, very beautiful little bird. And yeah, I'm just excited that we got to see one. Haven't seen one for a while, but have a look. So, as I said, that view is a bit difficult to see the color, but if you do see the sun on it, you look at that beautiful iridescence, that shine on the violet back starling. Look at that, also like a bluish purple or violet that you see. All depends on how the sun hits it, but it is very, very colorful. So lovely. Nice to see a violet back starling. Alright, I'm not far from that waterhole. It's just around the corner. Let's go and have a look and see if those hyena are coming out there. As I was saying, with it being a cooler morning, a lot of these predators are moving around a lot more, and I'm sure there's still a lot of movement from lions and lions and leopard. Now, we haven't seen lions for quite some time, and it was interesting. I heard, and Tristan, I think, may have mentioned it the other day on Drive, the Nkahuma Pride last week were on Londolozi, so right out of their territory, right down in the south. Oh, look, perfect timing. The hyena have just come out, and just as I thought, they're heading straight to the waterhole. There we go. Oh, it's always great when your idea of where the animals are going to go and it actually works out. So as I was saying, that Nkahuma Pride were all the way on Londolozi with 2 Birmingham males. They fed on a giraffe down there, so they were down there for quite some time, but right out of their territory, which is interesting. I wonder if these hyena are going to have a drink or if they're just walking past. A lovely view of them though. Yvette, you were wondering if the hyenas hunt or scavenge for their food most of the day. Now, Yvette, generally down here in South Africa where we are, the hyena do scavenge mostly scavenge. So because there are a number of predators around, like lion and hyena, it's easier for the hyena to... Sorry, let's quickly go across to Brent. Yvette, I'll finish your question shortly.
Guys, quickly, we found them, and they're having a big standoff with a male warthog. They were chasing the warthog, and then the warthog turned around and chased them. Now, there's a bit of a standoff between one of the young boys and the warthog. I suddenly saw this warthog running in a distance, and I was like, is that the cheetah behind it? Indeed it is. Now, as I said, with a big male warthog, this is probably more of a game. Now, we were right here a little bit earlier, so I don't know. They must have been really flat somewhere, and we must have just missed them. So we've looped around and come back, and they're almost in the exact same area where we left them this morning. Oh, the others are off after something else. Have they spotted something to eat? So there are some wildebeest around, and a young wildebeest will be definitely within their grasp. And it doesn't look like they've managed to eat anything just yet this morning. Well, let's get a little bit closer. Well, there we go. Success. Only 1 or 2 bugs in the eye as we're racing across to get closer to them. So Malika seems to really prefer hunting during the daytime hours. I suppose it does remove the chance of tangles with lions and hyenas. Now, I'm just going to go through this little area. We might have a little bit of intermittent breakup, but I'm going to get up above them onto the ridge where we will be in superb signal again. So I said my plan for the next couple of days while we're out here is to spend as much time as possible with these 3 cheetah. And it is wonderful that we are able to do that. Okay, let's get up on the hill above them a little bit. So the 2 boys are walking towards Mom. Mom is busy perusing over the herds. There are quite a lot of wildebeest up ahead. And as I said, a young wildebeest would definitely be within their grasp. There were some Tommies around as well. And looking down this beautiful valley. And I think she's going to head up towards the crest where the wildebeest are. And have a little roll first. And you can see that they are quite hungry already. So that little steenbok from last night. And remember, we are on a live African safari and we are with 3 hungry cheetahs. So there's Mom on the right and the little boy on the left. Now you can see that blonde flush behind his neck, and it says he's quite young. That they still have that. They're going to lose it quite shortly. Now that's remnant from when they're cubs and when Mom leaves them by themselves, and they end up having to hide from other predators while Mom's out trying to get a meal. But at this age, they will go on all the hunts with Mother Deer. Hasman is wondering, why do cheetahs chirp like birds? Well, Hasman, it's due to their hyoid apparatus. So unlike lions and leopards and some of the other big cats who have an elastic hyoid made out of cartilage, cheetah and small cats, their hyoid bone in their throat is a solid bone, so they're unable to make loud and large noises, and that enables them, or they chirp, and they can also purr, which the big cats can't do. I actually heard them purring quite a lot yesterday. And also you probably find it so they don't attract too much attention to themselves, to avoid run-ins with other predators. They do make some of the strangest sounds, especially when they're playing or arguing. Craig, what did you describe it as yesterday? A pterodactyl sound. And Craig says cheetah, when they're making noises, sound like pterodactyls. I'm not sure who that's more rude to, the cheetah or the pterodactyl. Olga is wondering, what does Malaika mean? Malaika is a Swahili word, and it means angel. There's also a very, very famous song called Malaika, a Swahili song, and it's all about an angel. I'm not going to sing. My singing voice is horrible, but the first lines are, Napenda Malaika, I love an angel. So what I think would happen is they must have been sleeping quite close to that warthog's hole, and as he popped up in the morning, they were right there, and the standoff ensued. Oh, it's amazing. We were right here this morning, and there were probably a couple of hundred wildebeest and zebra right here. So we looked around a little bit, didn't see them. They must have been lying really flat somewhere. Now, I'm going to try get a bit closer to them. Now that they are lying down. Well, I couldn't hear the name, but the question was, can you tell males from female cheetah? Yes, you can. The males are significantly taller, so a bit bigger. And of course, if they're walking away from you, there's some very obvious bouncy bits that males have that females don't. Oh, beautiful morning light on beautiful cheetah. Hi guys, did you miss us? Isn't this just splendid to be able to spend as much time as we do with them? And I think this is my morning set now. Oh, now I've got cheetah, and Jamie's going to look for cheetah, and I've got a message for Final Control to pass on to her, because I couldn't get hold of her on the radio this morning, that there is a female cheetah as you go through to the southern side of Balloon Crossing, up on the crest just to the west of Balloon Crossing. Southern side of Balloon Crossing on the crest to the west as you cross through Balloon Crossing. Okay, well, let's go see how close Jamie is to that area.
I'm very close to that area, and a very much appreciated update from Brent. It slightly counteracts the one that I've just been given, which is go along the river till you find the big sausage tree. But maybe what he meant was cross the big river and then you'll find the sausage tree, because now I've moved away from that particular spot and I've come along the river a little bit. I wanted to come and see what these people were looking at, but now I think I might have been led astray. So the southern side of Balloon Crossing on the ridge to the west. It's very sticky here. It's very sticky everywhere here. I wonder. There's some vultures. I'll just see what everybody's looking at before I go and put myself into a mess crossing through here, because I think that is what it's going to be. Vultures on the ground, probably an old kill. Can't see anything. And this place is a bit of a sticky mess up ahead to try and get onto the other side. Okay, let's go find that female cheetah. Southern side of Balloon Crossing. Sky, while we attempt to turn around, which I have to confess could be an interesting experience, you want to know if they redo the roads in the Mara after big storms. The main roads, perhaps, they'll certainly touch up every now and again. The roads in between are sort of left to their own devices. I'm going to just stay on the grass because this area is a bit of a nightmare. So they don't touch up the little bits, and there'd be no point after a big storm, because there's just going to be the next big storm tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because we are in the middle of the rainy season. So they don't necessarily go and repair all the roads straight after a big storm in the way that we might in South Africa. In South Africa, we do tend to, the number of roads, it's a much smaller number of roads. Each person is responsible for their own individual property. So after a few big storms, then road repairs will begin. But it would be impossible to maintain these roads, and they tend to right themselves once it dries up. The amount of vehicle traffic on them, they tend to actually basically recover. You'll find though, oh goodness gracious, people have had the same dilemma that I have had. You will find that the roads will be once they do dry out, they will be very, very bumpy and very uneven to dry on. But once the dry season carries on, it's high season, lots of people are coming through, they start to even out once again. Obviously there's certain areas that have to be repaired straight away. If a bridge on a main road washes away or something like that. Okay, I'm going to find this cheetah on the southern side of Balloon Crossing on the western ridge, or something like that. I think that's what it was. So while we attempt to get there, let's go and find out whether or not Taylor's slipping and sliding all over the show.
For the first time this morning, we're not slipping and sliding. Jamie, we've managed to jump onto one of the main roads now. It's a bit boggy up in this eastern corner, so I thought what we would do, seeing as we had no luck with the Olololo Pride, is that perhaps we'd try and find the Sausage Tree Pride, who's, I think, Jamie's favourite pride of lions. She spends a lot of time with them. I haven't seen them for a while, actually. It's been a few weeks that I keep missing them, so we're going to head in that direction. We're basically holding onto the car to make sure it doesn't slide as we go past another vehicle. That could be quite awkward. So we're going to make our way towards the bridge, the tree line that you can see in the distance, and then we'll go through it. And hopefully those lions are going to be somewhere quite close, because I don't know how I feel about driving along some of those roads right next to the lugger. Especially there's a couple of bits that, you know, you're on a very narrow section that you could quite easily slide off. I don't know if I want to do that, but that's okay. So we'll scan about, we'll check with binoculars and see if we can find them, or we'll just see if some cars have beaten us to it, and we'll look for the gathering of vehicles. That also helps sometimes. Otherwise we'll go all the way around. We'll maybe do a river road drive this morning, not this afternoon, and just take it easy. Probably a couple of birds. We'll even look for this African blue flycatcher that I've seen quite a few times at the bridge, and I know Jamie was desperately trying to get it on camera yesterday, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she called it a swine, so we shall be calling them the pig birds from now on. I had a good chuckle at that. It's very frustrating when you're searching and you're talking up a bird and how great they are, and then they just tease you like that and make you look like a fool. And I suppose that's nature, and nature has got the best sense of humor, doesn't it? So we'll try to do that. We'll try to do some birding, as well. Scott's left me with his bird book. Woo! So we can use that today, which will be quite nice. Actually, we're not fast, so maybe stick with us. The bridge is just up ahead, and then we'll stop, we'll have a little listen, we'll see if we can hear it. And while we get there, that frog that we saw last night, thank you. Oh no, I'm not going to tell you that. Let's quickly go across to Brent.
Okay, well, a Tommy has suddenly jogged down into the valley right in front of them. It hasn't seen them yet. Now, the two little boys have spotted the Tommy. Remember, this is 100% live. I think it might get too far, but Chantal, let's go onto Facebook. Welcome everyone. You're on your very own live African safari from the Maasai Mara in Kenya. We have a young male cheetah who has spotted a Thompson's gazelle. And, Oh dear, I think the Thompson's gazelle spotted him and managed to disappear. Now, these cheetah are hungry. They are going to be hunting. Yesterday morning, we managed to see them take down a steenbok live. Oh, he's off. Now, maybe the Tommy didn't see him. Maybe the Tommy was running for the joy of the morning. Now, because it's live, we can never know exactly what's going to happen next. But yesterday morning, we were able to watch 3 cheetah take down a little antelope. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, guys. There's a bit of moisture in the air. It's just tickling my nose this morning. My name is Brent, and I have Craig on camera. And if these cheetah don't hunt now, they are almost certainly going to hunt later in the morning. So must always be prepared to join us on Safari Live for exciting wildlife. Now, at the moment, the Tommy is stopped, not too far away. Definitely enough to keep the cheetah's interest. And it's stopping for a little bit of a graze. There we go. Hello, little Tommy. Oh, there's another Thompson's gazelle running in that doesn't know the cheetah here. It's a male, so he could start chasing the females. And what happens there is that causes a bit of confusion, which is sometimes better for the cheetah. So there we go. He's like, oh, girlfriend. But sometimes that can make it a little bit easier for the cheetah. This time, luckily for the Thompsons, he's chasing them away, the female away from where the cheetah are. Now, I don't think that was on purpose. I don't think he even knew that there were cheetah right here. Now, as I said, yesterday morning we saw 3. So far we've only showed you the one young male. There he is there. There he is, the young male. And off to the right is his mom and his brother. Now, you will see a couple of other vehicles also here enjoying the sighting. There we go. On the left is his brother. On the right is his mother. Now, unfortunately, I think those Tommies are too far away now, but these... Oh, have they spotted something else? Just hang on, let me get my binoculars out. I can see Mom lasering in on the opposite bank. Now, there could easily be some more antelope or even baby water... there's some Tommies, but they're quite far away. And Mom has spotted them. But I'd say they're still about 1 kilometer away. Now, that's how good a cheetah's eyesight is for movement. So she's seen those little tails flicking on the opposite bank, but not too interested. As I say, they're almost certainly going to hunt again this morning. Little man's up. But it could be quite a while before they get close enough to attempt another... Well, this wasn't really a chase, but they will definitely be attempting a chase at some point this morning. So guys, remember to keep a lookout for that live notification. I'm going to be with these cheetahs all day, so they're almost certainly going to hunt at some point. So hopefully we will see you soon on a live cheetah hunt from the Maasai Mara in South Africa. For now, from Craig and myself, toodaloo. Oh, so far it's been quite a bit of excitement already this morning, although nothing came of it. As I say, they only ate a small steenbok yesterday, so there's going to be a very good chance that these 3 are going to be on the hunt again today. And I'm very excited to spend the rest of my day with them. I don't know about you, I'm sure you guys are as well. Wonderful, Malika and the boys. Malika is up, having a bit of a stretch. What adventures are you going to take us on? this morning, you beautiful girl. So thanks to Jamie, I know she's about 10 years old, so that's quite old for a cheetah in the Mara, just due to that incredible predator pressure. Oh, here we go. Here comes trouble. Are you going to try tackle your mom? No. Mom saw you coming. Now, the area they're heading into is looking very promising. There's wildebeest, there's Thompson's gazelles, and across this ridge, there's actually a massive herd of wildebeest. So are they going to be going for smaller prey, or are they going to be hoping for something a bit bigger this morning? Now, she did spot some Tommies on the opposite hill. It doesn't look like she's heading towards them just yet. Oh, such a scene. Such a beautiful scene. This lovely short green grass plains of the Mara. And 3 cheetah on the hunt. So we're going to stick with them. Now, of course, when they move through an area like this, you can actually see there's a little bit of longer, yellower grass down in the bottom of the valley, and they could even rustle up a reedbuck in that type of area. You will see and hear a tractor on its way. Now, that is on its way to pick up a balloon that just landed not too far away. Chantal, I can hear you. So Marula wanted to know, how much meat do they eat in 24 hours? It completely depends on what they catch. They've got a very high metabolism, and they can gulp down meat very quickly. Yesterday, the 3 of them ate a full steenbok in under 10 minutes. As I said, all depends on what size prey they catch. Difficult to say, probably no more than about 10 or 15 kgs in a 24-hour period. But they are able to digest that meat very quickly. Therefore, they can eat again quite quickly. Now, they've got a very high metabolism in comparison to the other big cats, and that's also what means quite a lot. Well, a lot. Here we go. You can see there's a balloon slowly deflating on the ridge. Now, I'm sorry for interrupting Madam McCurdy's story, so let's go back to hear the end.
Well, it's okay. Don't stress, Brent. It's very exciting. So what I was trying to do is there's a number of things that I wanted to tell you. You can actually, if you want, we've got a beautiful black-bellied bustard that we've been following around now that's been calling. I'm going to look for a frog quick call on my phone quickly and then just have that prepared, and then I'll tell you about that in a minute. There we go. Just want to keep that there for later. Now, it's a beautiful big male. We see these birds in South Africa too. He's now stopped calling and he's decided that he's going to eat all sorts of things. What did you just catch? Did you just pull an insect off of that? Now he's going down into a lugger typically. But this is the champagne bird. This is the one that sounds like a champagne popping, and I was hoping that we were going to get that for you. It's always nice to see. Oh, hello. And he's a very relaxed black-bellied bustard too. He was probably about 5 or 6 meters away from the car a couple of minutes ago, which was quite nice because it's not often that you get such close and relaxed encounters. We also then had a rosy-breasted longclaw join the sighting too and sang the most beautiful tune, actually outsung the black-bellied bustard. Can you believe it? I think I can still hear it singing in the distance every now and then. Hopefully we're able to put one of them on screen. I know I tried a while ago and I wasn't successful, but hopefully I'll get another chance. Are you going to come up and call up here? I think that you could call up here. This is a good spot for calling. Looks like he's getting ready. Let's see. Typically when they do their calls, they'll find a spot where they're out in the open and quite high up. No, and he's just coming to check on us. No, what are you catching? I can't see what it's going after. I suspect it's insects that are on the grass. On an absolute mission. And this is obviously a good feeding spot because he hasn't stopped, has he? He's barely stood still for a second. I love that we just see his head pop up every now and then. No, he's ducking. Oh, I don't think he's going to call again. I think he's finished trying to look for ladies and is now just focusing on filling his crop. So, earlier I was about to mention about the frog. Now, thank you very much for all IDing it on the spot. Fantastic. And I've actually seen this frog before. I was going through some photos last night, and you're all correct in saying that it's a mascarene rocket frog or a ridge frog or a grass frog. So, apparently, the one that I know it as is, because I was looking at my photo that I labeled it as a mascarene grass frog. So, grass frogs, ridge frogs, pretty much of a muchness. And this is the call. Are you ready?
Mascarene grass frog, Tychidina mascareniensis.
Latin name if you wanted it. We definitely hear a lot of that at night, so I can 100% confirm that's exactly what we saw, which is quite exciting. And I saw that frog up in Zambia. I did quite a bit of frogging in Zambia. I managed to find an old folder that I'd saved. Good job, Taylor, to pat myself on the back, because normally I will take pictures and, well, they'll just completely disappear. I'll lose them. So managed to, of course, to get that one. Very well done, and again, thank you to all of you who did send through screenshots and did manage to have a look on the interweb and ID it. So it seems as though I've got quite a few of the frog calls actually in this area, which is nice. I just need to start putting a proper list together and start checking them off. So I haven't seen the Sausage Tree Pride yet. I haven't seen any of their tawny coats standing amongst the green grass. I don't want to go up that way because I know that side is that road I was telling you that has that very narrow section where you could quite easily slip off on either side, so we won't be going there. What we might do though, let's just have a quick scan a little bit further along. Maybe I'll take the next road up along this lugger. This is one of their favorite luggers and they often hang around in this area. Didn't find the African blue flycatcher, I'm afraid. There were a couple of others that are out drying their feathers, but not the one that we were looking for, sadly. It's fine. It will be my arch nemesis of birds to put on camera here in the Mara, and we'll have to try and get it on screen before I leave. Right. Okay, so we're going to now start slipping and sliding again. Very excited about that. Byron, I don't think, is slipping and sliding around at all. He does have some guinea fowl.
Large flock of guinea fowl. Yeah, we're not slipping and sliding around like they are in the Mara. We're just enjoying all these guinea fowl at the moment. It's been a bit quiet on Djuma this morning, I must admit, and I don't know if the weather has got something to do with it. It's actually the temperature has dropped. It's a bit colder. It's still very overcast. I don't think it's going to rain. It doesn't look like rain clouds, just a bit of a front, I suppose, that has come through. Have a look at that. Very cloudy and a bit windy. So maybe the animals are all seeking shelter, not moving around as much. So it's been very quiet for us this morning so far. Nice to see those hyena earlier. But we're going to make our way down to Chitwa, have a look around the dam, see if there's anything interesting down there. Nice to see the guinea fowl though, and they're always a good indicator of any predators. If are predators around, they alarm call, and often you can find a predator just by listening to the guinea fowl. So let's make our way down to Chitwa. And I suppose we need to wish some of the guides in South Africa luck this morning, because today is the national sitting for the FAGASA exams, the field guide exams. So those still writing exams, well, this is the last exam for the year, the last sitting that they can do for the year. So good luck to all the new and upcoming guides, if they're writing level 1, if they're starting out, or depending on what level they're writing. Sometimes the more experienced guides write their levels, but they all write on the same day. So good luck to them. And it's wonderful that the guides out there, even the guides that have been guiding for a while, still try and improve their knowledge, improve their qualifications. There's a beautiful bird. Is it a little bee-eater? Just sitting over there. Wiem, is it a European bee-eater? I think it's a European bee-eater. There we go. Look at that. Scruffy little, well, it looks a bit scruffy, but it's just because it's windy. But what a beautiful sight. Oh, we've been lucky with our birds this morning. Now that is, as I said, the European bee-eater. Now they've just returned back for the summer months. This looks like no, it's an adult, but it just looks a bit scruffy, I think because it's cold and windy. But that is lovely. Now, we've heard them around. This is the first time I think we've actually been able to get one on camera this season, since they've returned. And I know a lot of you enjoy these bee eaters too, because of the beautiful colors. They're magnificent. What a nice surprise. I just saw a typical bee eater movement, flight pattern. Oh, so these ones have just returned. Joe, you say you love the colorful birds here. Now, we're very fortunate. We do get some beautifully colorful birds, especially these European bee-eaters. But two migratory species we've seen this morning. Firstly was that violet-backed starling, and now a European bee-eater. Now, Josh, you say it's got a yellow scarf. It does almost. Look under the throat. This is a nice image of the coloration of the European bee-eater. You can see it a bit clearly, or clearer rather. You can see if the light hits it, it does have that beautiful yellow, slightly rufous or reddish brown on the top and the back, that blue coloration, yellow on the wings, a bit of green in there. Stunning. Isn't that wonderful? European bee-eater. I can hear another one. There it goes. Another one flying over us. Laura Moore, you asking how do they get past the stings? So I'm assuming you're asking obviously of the bees that they feed on. Well, a lot of the time what they do is they'll catch an insect and they hit it on the side of a branch too, and that usually might loosen the sting. Now I'm just trying to think. Sometimes these birds are able to eat, or if they bash and kill the insect, they'll be able to eat the little sting too. But I mean, it's interesting. These European bee-eaters will also feed on wasps and termites, especially those winged termites, the alates. After we get a bit of rain, you'll probably see those little winged termites coming up and flying around. These bee-eaters will feed on them. So most insects, winged insects. However, bees and wasps, yeah. So they'd beat them on the stick, and they'd usually, as they're knocking them around, they'll try and scrape the sting off, and then they will eat the insect. It looks like a birding morning for us this morning. Birds have done well. That violet-backed starling, the guinea fowl, and now the European bee-eater. So we'll see. Maybe we see some more interesting birds. I heard a red-chested cuckoo calling earlier. Now that beautiful red-chested cuckoo. We saw one the other day. I'm so glad we got to show you on camera what the red-chested cuckoo looks like. Okay, well, I think we're going to go down to Chitwa Dam. Let's go back across to the Mara to Brent. And I'm not sure what he has at the moment.
Well, we're still with Malika and the two boys, and they're just taking it easy for now. They haven't moved since you were last with us, but they're still heads are up, looking around. There is a lot of potential food around. So, as I said, our plan for the rest of today, if it takes that long, is to sit right here with these gorgeous cheetah. And often with with any of the big cats, patience, 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 and some more patience is what's needed. And especially, I think, with Malika, she seems to hunt later in the morning than a lot of the other cheetah in the Mara. And maybe it's a very good strategy. Makes sure she doesn't bump into as many of the other predators, such as lion and hyena. Now, Gillian would like to know, is Malika the granddaughter of Keke? Gillian, unfortunately, I have absolutely no idea who Keke is. But apparently the answer is yes. So then I assume Keke was a film star in her own right, and a few people who would have actually watched Malika grow up as a cub, and now she's a successful mother of her own. She's one of the more successful mothers in the Mara, having raised quite a few cubs to adulthood. Now, with those cheetah cubs, they can disperse far and wide. They might move into the Serengeti. They might move far into the conservancies up against the mountains. So they do have massive home ranges. And I've seen Malika... I've seen Malika near Talek. I've seen her down next to the Mara River near Lookout Hill. I've seen her up here. I've seen her around the Ronkai. So she does wander far and wide. I think at the moment, the reason she's spending a lot of time between this area and Lookout Hill and below that is due to the fact that the five boys are more in the Ronkai Valley. So those five boys would definitely be a threat to her two young males here. Now, they are potential competition, not yet, but as they get older, of course, male cheetah don't like having other male cheetah around. And also, the interesting thing is that those five boys actually killed another male cheetah about 3 weeks ago, a little bit longer, and it was also another collared male. So we got that information from the Mara Cheetah Project. They let us know that so the five boys did actually kill another cheetah. So she's being a good mom and keeping her two rugrats far away from the five musketeers. Now, they do occasionally come into this area. This is sort of the furthest south I've seen them, well, a little bit further south from where we're sitting now. Although I know Jamie has seen them quite close to Lookout Hill. So traditionally, though, they tend to stay further to the south, to the north of us. Well, we're going to sit here to see what Malika and the boys get up to next. Jamie, however, has been playing in the mud, except this time she wasn't the one stuck in it.
I wasn't someone stuck at all. I'm actually on my way to go and rescue someone who's stuck, and I can still hear him revving off in the distance as he attempts to get himself out of his hole. But I've stopped quickly to show you this beautiful atelier. Looks like... Is that a male? Looks like a male to me. missing the characteristic white bar of feathers on the wings that the females have. They're definitely one of the most striking of birds. That bright red face, also known as the short-tailed snake eagle. And you can see why, because what you're seeing underneath that part of the branch where its tail would normally be is actually its wings extending and meeting together. The tail of a bateleur is very, very reduced, giving it a characteristic rocking motion. And there's a dove as well, just keeping him company. Not quite a meeting of equals. Shame I can hear him revving. He's not going to get... Oh, my friend, you are not going to get out that way. Well, we're on the southern side of Balloon Crossing, almost, which is a good start. And he happens to be stuck in a western-ish direction, which is even better for us, because it means that we're going in the direction of where that female cheetah is. But it's just getting there at the moment. That's a time-consuming process. It's just one of those things where no roads... The roads that go directly there are not drivable, or you have to sort of skip along. I'm really glad it's not me stuck this time, and I am going to go and help that gentleman because I really do feel for him. I know that feeling. Okay, I didn't quite hear what it was that Byron had, but we're going to send you back over to South Africa because apparently he has something to show you.
Look, now we're watching a beautiful village weaver and a few village weavers around. But have a look at this. This is very interesting to watch them build their nests. And you can see that's an older nest that bird is on now. The grass has dried up quite a bit. But look at the one in the foreground. That is a new nest that bird is busy building and weaving. It is fascinating to see